Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, Matt's going to be teaching you how to play Pure Imagination. Now, this has to be one of the most popular tunes from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Every time I hear it, it really transports me back into the magic of that original movie and really makes me feel like a kid once again. But let's go ahead and take a step back and let's talk a little bit about this song as a fingerstyle piece, because I did get a chance to play through it last night. And I've got to say that this tune is going to be perfect for the intermediate fingerstyle player. But there's one really big aspect about it that I think is what makes it shine, and that's how Matt plays it. Matt's playing has such incredible finesse, and it begs the question, how does he play the notes and the chords? How does he make it sing? So I would actually recommend you guys watch this lesson where he breaks down this concept in greater detail, and it'll give you a few ideas on how you can add a little bit more finesse into your own playing. Now I'll also link that lesson in the description box below. But let's talk a little bit about this lesson. So in this video, Matt's going to be teaching you how to play the entire tune, but if you want to get the tabs to print off and follow along with, that's going to be available at this link right here, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Pure Imagination. Now also on that page will be the on-screen interactive tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, you can watch the tabs scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a great asset in learning this song that much easier. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Matt to teach you how to play this, and then I'll catch you at the end of the video.
Hi, my name's Matt Dahlberg, and today we're going to work on a high G ukulele arrangement of Pure Imagination. We're going to start now with melody A, and to begin this, we're going to do the pickup bar. Now, before we actually start playing anything, the technique I like to use with my playing hand is called a rest stroke. For more information, check out a link below, but basically it's just my thumb striking whatever strings it needs to and resting on whatever string it doesn't. Doing this gives you a really good tone and good control as you're going through it. To start though, we're going to play 2 on the C. Just take your middle finger, place it there on the 2nd fret of the C string. See how I'm resting on the E string, right? Play the C, rest on the E. That's how that technique is done. Then I'm going to play 1 on the E string with my index finger here. Going right into bar 1, our first chord here is called a G minor 11. We leave these 2 fingers where they are and just add the ring finger here to the 3rd fret of the A string and strum all the way through all 4 strings. Then we're going to play 2 on the C and 1 on the E. So that measure 1, including the pickup bar, should sound something like this in time. 1 and 2 and. Going into the second measure here, we're going to play a C7, but a way that you might not have played it before. Leave your ring finger where it is on the 3rd fret of the A string. Take the index and middle fingers off and move the middle finger to the 3rd fret of the G string and strum through all 4 strings. Then we're going to play 2 on the C, just take your middle finger and move it back down. And 1 on the E, just add your index back. So measure 2 in time sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so that you can hear it, here is measures 1 and 2, including that pickup bar. 1 and 2 and. Now going into measure 3, I truly believe this is the hardest measure of the whole song. So if you're able to get this down, the whole thing is very approachable. It's going to start with an F major 7 chord. To play this, bar across the 5th fret with your index finger, and then take your ring finger and place it here on the 7th fret of the A string. We're going to strum through all 4 strings together. Now from here, we're going to add 8 with our pinky on the A string. Then we're going to play this G minor 6 chord. To do that, leave your ring finger where it is, take your index finger and move it down to 6 on the E string, and cross your middle finger up to 7 on the C string. Strum through all 4 strings. add the pinky on 8 again. Then we're going to go to this G sharp diminished 7, some big names here. All that you need to do for this chord though is take your pinky and ring fingers off, take your middle finger, slide it up 1 fret, having your index finger follow, and then take your index and bar it across the E and the A strings on that 7th fret. So you can see that I'm just sliding this position here up 1 fret and collapsing that finger to get 8 on the E, or excuse me, 8 on the C, 7 on the E, and 7 on the A. Playing just those 3, being very careful to not hit the G string. It's not going to sound so good there. And then from there, I'm going to play 8 on the A with my ring finger. That's the hardest part of the song, I really do think. So it sounds something like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going now into measure 4, we're going to go to this F major 9 chord. To do that, well, we're already up here, right? We're going to actually leave our index finger where it is, move the middle finger to 8 on the E, and the ring finger here to 9 of the C. So we have 0, 9, 8, 7, and strum through all 4 strings. Then we're going to play 8 on the E, slide everything down for the middle finger here on 2 of the C, and then play 1 on the E with the index. So measure 4 is something like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And 3 and 4 should sound something like this together. Again, hardest part of the whole song. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going from here, we go into measure 5, where we're going to play a G minor 9 chord. 3, 2, 1, 0. Ring finger here on the 3rd fret of the G string. Middle here on the 2nd fret of the C. Index here on 1 of the E. You'll notice that from the previous bar, we already have 2/3 of it built. We just kick that ring finger over. Strum through all 4 of those strings. Play the 3 on the G string. And then 3 on the A, just taking your pinky and stacking it here. So that measure 5 in time should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into measure 6 now should sound something like this. We're going to play 0, 0, 1, 0, just the index finger here on 1 of the E. Strum through all 4 strings. Then play 3 on the E with the ring finger, and 1 on the E, just taking that ring finger off, leaving your index where it was. So measure 6 sounds like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so that we can hear the pair, here is 5 and 6. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into 7 now. It's kind of an F diminished chord. It's really only 2 strings that we're playing. Middle finger still there at 2 of the C, and we're going to pluck the C and the open E together. Then we're going to add 1 with the index finger on the E string, take it off, add it back. Then open those up and play the C and E together. And then open on the C string. So 7 in time is something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into measure 8, one of my all-time favorite chords on the ukulele, an F major 7, 5, 5, 0, 0. Take your middle finger, place it here on the 5th fret of the G string, then take your ring finger, place it here on the 5th fret of the C string, and strum through all 4. Such a nice sound. And then to cap that measure off, we're going to play 2 on the C and 1 on the E, just like we do in the pickup bar with our middle and index fingers. So measure 8 in time is something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now at this point, it has a repeat. Now before we talk about that, let's go ahead and hear what 7 and 8 sound like as a pair. It should be something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now from here with the repeat, we go back to measure 1 and we play through that melody A again. Now, instead of going to measure 7, which you'll notice is the first repeat, when we do the repeat, we skip ahead to measure 9 for the second repeat. Measure 9 is really simple. We're going to play an A chord, middle finger here on the second fret of the G string, index finger here on the first fret of the C, strum through our G, C, E strings together. And then we're going to move all the way up to this other A chord, middle finger here on the 9th fret of the C, ring finger here on the 9th fret of the E, index here on the 7th fret of the A string. Something that can really help make this chord happen is to angle your fingers towards your shoulder. If you try and keep your fingers straight up and down, it can be really tough, but angling them a bit can really help. We're going to strum our C, E, and A there for this other A chord. So measure 9 in time sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and going right into 10. 10 is just holding this chord for 4 beats. So after you strum this on measure 9, you just let it ring. So that 3 and 4 and measure 10, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and nothing difficult about that. But so that you can hear it, here is the entirety of melody A. So I'm going to start with the pickup bar. I'm going to go measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm going to do the repeat. And then from that repeat, I'm going to go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to skip ahead to 9 and 10. So that whole monstrosity should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. A lot of space there at the end. But now we go on to melody B. And melody B is going to work up the fretboard a little bit more, so a little bit of tricky chords. We're going to start here with a B flat 5 chord. Take your index finger, place it on the 5th fret of the C string, middle finger here on the 6th fret of the E string, and then you're going to take your pinky and put it on the 8th fret of the A string. We're going to strum through our C, E, and A together. We're going to then slide our pinky up to 10 on the A. That's a bit of a stretch. If the earlier part of measure 3 I said was the hardest part of the song, this is definitely the second. And so if it's too difficult to do this stretch, it's okay to take the fingers off, but leaving them on does get that better resonance. So we're going to go 8 to 10, back to 8, back up to 10, and then we're going to strum through the 5, 6, 8 again. So measure 11 in time should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into measure 12, we're going to play a familiar chord with a different name. It's the F major 9 chord that we worked on earlier, but now we're going to be playing it as an A minor 7. Same thing though, 0, 9, 8, 7. Same fingers too, ring, middle, and index. Play through all 4, play the 8 on the E. Then we're going to play the kind of Hawaiian D7 chord. To do this, take your ring and index fingers off, slide your middle finger all the way down to 2, then add your index on 2 of the G, kind of angling your fingers towards your shoulder. Strum through all 4. So 12 in time sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. and so that you can hear the pair, here's 11 and 12. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Little side effect of that 8 going to 2 is you can get that little slide, which sounds pretty cool, right? Going on to 13, we're going to play our G minor 9 chord that we played before, 3, 2, 1, 0. Then play the 3 on the G, open A, 3 on the G, and then we're going to play that G minor 11 that we played earlier, just the 1 on the E string, and then 1 on the E again. So measure 13 in time, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then going into 15, we're going to play that chord that I absolutely love, that F major 7, the 5, 5, 0, 0. We're going to downstrum through all 4 strings. Then we're going to upstrum through all 4 strings. That gives us our melody note on the A string, followed by our melody note on the G string. To do that upstrum, I like to use the thumbnail. It's a little bit of a tricky technique though. It's okay to use your index finger coming up as well. So 14 in time, pretty straightforward, sounds like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so that you can hear that pair, here's measures 13 and 14 together. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into measure 15 now, B flat sharp 11. What we do is we take the index finger, place it on 5 of the C string, middle finger here on 6 of the E. Ring finger goes to 7 on the A, strum just the C, E, and A. You'll notice it's a pretty tense sound. And then we're going to add the pinky on 8 of the A, take it off for 7, put it back on for 8. Then we're going to play an E chord. To do this, leave your fingers kind of stacked like this for a moment. Just kind of visualize this because this pinky and this index are both going to slide down 1 fret. The middle and ring come off, and the index bars across 4 on the G, C, and E strings. So we have 4, 4, 4, 7 for this E chord. Then we're going to play 4 on the C, which is already there. So measure 15 in time should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going on to measure 16, we're going to play this A minor 11 chord. To play this A minor 11 chord, I like to just use a little double bar. We're going to have our index finger here on the 4th fret of the C string. And it's okay if it kind of bars because the middle finger is going to come over and bar across the E and the A strings on the 5th fret. Strum through our C, E, and A together. And then the next chord here is that A minor 7 we played just a couple bars ago, the 0, 9, 8, 7. So 16 in time sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And the pair here of 15 and 16 should be something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now as we go on to measure 17, we're going to go to a D7 chord. Bar all the way across the 5th fret with your index finger. Add 6 on the C string with your middle. Strum through all 4 strings. Add the ring finger on 7 of the A. Take it off. Put it back on. Then we're going to go to this G7. To play this, you're going to take that bar and you're going to move it so it's no longer on the G string, but staying on the C, E, and A, still at 5. Take your ring finger, add it on 7 of the E string. Strum through all 4 strings. And play 2 on the C, which we can just slide our index finger down. So 17 sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into 18, this is a lovely little line. It's a C7 playing with some little chromaticism, which just means moving a half step at a time. We're going to play 3, 0, 0. So when we're playing this 3, 0, 0, we want to make sure that we're using our ring finger here. So we're playing just like that. And then we're going to play 1 on the E with the index finger, strumming our G, C, E again, still with that 3 on the G string. Then we're going to play 2 on the E string with our middle finger, and then 3 on the E string with the pinky. So measure 18 sounds like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And 17 and 18 sound something like this together. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into 19, 19's super basic. We're still holding that chord. We're letting it continue to ring. And then we're going to play 2 on the C and 1 on the E, just like we did on the pickup bar and many other places in this song. And so 19 in time sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and holding that chord. Now what's cool about this is we now go back to the beginning of the song again, right? And so this kind of wraps up this melody B, because what we're doing is we're going back to our melody A again. So that you can hear it though, here's measures 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So that you can get a good feel for this really interesting section. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now from here, we go back to measure 1. Now what you'll notice here on measure 6, if you look at the tab, it says Dakota. And from here, we're going to go on to measure 20, which starts the outro, melody C. Now, this outro is very, very simple, but very beautiful with these open voices. We're going to start with an A chord, play the 2, 1, 0. And then we're going to go to the other A chord, 9, 9, 7. Same way we played it before on measures 9 and 10. It's exactly the same. So in time, that sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we go on to 21. And 21 is going to start to incorporate some interesting chords for the end of this song. Again, using some beautiful open voicings. We're going to start by playing 0068. To do this, we're going to use our our middle finger on the 6th fret of the E string and our pinky finger here on the 8th fret of the A. We're going to strum our G, C, E, A all the way through for the C minor 11. And then we're going to play a C7. And to play this, you're just going to take that pinky and take it off, add the ring finger, on the 7th fret of the A string and strum through all 4. So the middle finger stays where it is, just adding that 7. In time, 21 and 22 sounds like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And to wrap it up on measure 25, measure 22, we're going to play the 5, the 5th fret of the G string with the index finger, 5th fret of the E string with the middle finger, and the 8th fret with the pinky on the A string. It's a bit of a stretch, but it gives you this awesome open F chord. So 22 in time, really straightforward, is just 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so that you can hear it, I'm actually going to play all of melody C, just measures 20, 21, and 22, so that you can hear the end using these awesome open voicings. It should be something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And there you have it. That is pure imagination. The thing about this song is you want to play it with what's called rubato style. And rubato is playing with feeling. It's okay to not put this onto a metronome and try to click, 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 play along. It's a really good idea to let some of these voices really breathe and ring out. You'll notice I do that not only when I performed it, but also when I'm teaching it. You'll hear me kind of let things ring out a little bit more. So play it with feeling and enjoy a nice chocolate bar while you do it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll look forward to next time for the next tutorial here on Rock Class 101. Thanks so much.
Alright guys, so this week's ukulele lesson was a ton of fun. This is really a timeless tune, and for a lot of us it takes us back into our childhood. So guys, I do want to give you a friendly reminder that if you wanted to get the tabs to print off Keep Free Records, that was available at this link right here, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Pure Imagination. Now also on that page was the really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer, so you can literally hit play, you can watch that tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars, loop sections, slow it down, all that fun jazz. So guys, again, I hope you enjoyed learning this, and we'll catch you in the next lesson. Take care.